Welcome back to our first one-on-one session for the day. So I have the pleasure to welcome our three representatives from Intelsat, our sponsor for the event. So Jonathan Osler from the Director of Product Development, Rice Morgan, the RVP Europe and MENA, and Jerry Collins, Director of Product Management, Mobile Networks, all from Intelsat. So the one-on-one session today will be delivering innovative experience to the customers of the future. So Jerry, Rice, and Jonathan, the screen is all yours.
Okay, thanks a lot, Shana. Good morning, everybody. Good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. Be myself today, as Shana mentioned, Rhys Morgan. I'm based in London and talking to you from home today. Unfortunately, not with you physically. Looking forward to meeting with you all in person in the coming year, as hopefully things start to get back to something resembling normal. And then I've got my colleagues Jerry, who's also coming here in from the UK, and John, who's putting in a tremendous effort and joining us from the US overnight his time. So I'm going to just run through a quick view of Intelsat, introduce you to our network if you're not familiar, hone in then on some of the satellites that are certainly most relevant for the media community, both in the Middle East and slightly further afield. And then we'll hand over to the real experts, John and Jerry. They'll give you a little bit of a view of the way satellite can play in the evolving content delivery ecosystem. So we've got some interesting slides for you this morning. I'll just kick it off with an overview of Intelsat. If we can move to the next slide, please, Jerry. So for those of you who don't know, Intelsat's got a truly global network. We're covering all of the globe really, except the poles. We've got a very large media business. It's our largest business unit in terms of revenue, with a really tremendous array of blue chip customers. We've got over 50 satellites in orbit. And on those 50 satellites, we're hosting today 30 direct-to-home networks, more than 1,200 HD channels, and more than 4,000 standard def channels. So really very significant from a media perspective. To help our customers enable their distribution, then we've also got a pretty extensive global terrestrial network that consists of both fiber, teleports, and then also a lot of the facilities that you might expect with that kind of terrestrial sophistication. So we operate a fiber network called Intelsat One that extends out directly to many of our customer premises, or indeed to local POPs where applicable. And out of 5 of the teleports that we operate in across the US and Europe predominantly, we've got very significant media business running through those. And to further extend the reach, to get closer to our customers and to provide more functionality for our customers, we've also got partnership deals with other teleports as well, to extend our range of services and extend our geographic footprint. Next slide, please, Jerry. The network in practice looks like this. You can see that our 50+ satellites are distributed across the equator, as with all of the other geostationary operators. We've got a high concentration of satellites over the United States and the Americas. But then moving further east, we've also got an extensive satellite deployment in areas that are extremely interesting for the Middle East and Africa. And then moving again further east, still great coverage of Australasia and Asia Pac. Now, underlaying all of that is the terrestrial network that I mentioned. You can see those fiber links outlined there in blue, which are the Intelsat One, our own proprietary fiber network that connect to our points of presence and our teleports. You can see our teleports in red, and then the partner teleports in orange. And then above and beyond that, the partnership agreements that we have with fiber providers, again, in orange. So what that does is that connects us to the major media centers around the world. You can see, for example, we have a presence in Dubai with our partner there, and it enables our customers to get into our network more readily. So for example, if you are in the Middle East and you'd like to distribute some content, let's say DTH into North America, then we can very comfortably take you on fiber, or indeed on some of the more emerging IP delivery technologies, or obviously satellite into the US, and then using our teleport network in the US, we can uplink you then onto some of our satellites. So if we move on to the next slide, please. You can see that really focusing in on some of the satellites. So we'll be moving then over to the west in terms of our focus, but initially I wanted to talk about IS-20 that's at 68.5 degrees east. This is Africa's #1 hotspot for video distribution. Multi-choice DSTV sits on this satellite, and we've got many, many years of a very strong relationship with those guys there. You can see from some of the brands there that we're featuring, we carry really some very significant channels on behalf of MultiChoice within their package. And this connects to millions of homes in sub-Saharan Africa across the continent. There's a total of 548 channels on there, 48 of which are HD. But what you can see also outside of the MultiChoice bouquet is also growing bouquet of free-to-air channels. This is really becoming a very, very strong free-to-air neighborhood in sub-Saharan Africa. There are various initiatives underway to increase the strength of that free-to-air neighborhood, not least of which we'll be launching our own platform to carry channels there early in the new year, which we're pretty excited about. But if you want to reach sub-Saharan Africa, then this really is the place to be. Then moving on to the next slide, please. We've got then G19, which is the premier DTH platform for the US. This is really extremely diverse in terms of content, but probably more interestingly, language groups. So we've got some extremely strong language groups here, and this platform appeals predominantly to the diasporas who've moved to the US and who are looking for some content from home. So very, very large Arabic community watching this, with then the number of Arabic channels on here reflecting that penetration. Also, Farsi is the second biggest language grouping on here. So again, very large community looking at this, and we're carrying a significant number of Farsi channels. Beyond that, then we have other languages such as Spanish and Vietnamese, as you might expect. And just going back to the network example, we carry many, many channels from the Middle East directly into the US, where we uplink them onto platforms on behalf of our partners, which gives then the channels the ability to connect to millions of homes across the US. Thanks, Jerry. Next slide, please. And then finally into Europe, and we're looking at our One West hotspot there, predominantly focused on Central and Eastern Europe, and then also going up into the Scandinavian region. We've got more than 18 million households there today, with 850 channels. We're hosting some very big DTH platforms here, as well as recently launching a 4K Ultra HD platform, which is gaining some significant market traction, and working closely with our partners at Telenor, with whom we share this orbital location, to try and develop joint propositions for channels, so that not only can they target Central and Eastern Europe, but they can also target the Nordics as well at the same time, by taking advantage of the dual coverage on these satellites. So very strong orbital location for Europe, and something that we're looking to develop further with the growth of the 4K channels and the Ultra HD capability. So I think really I just wanted to give you a little flavour of the network globally, and some of the satellites that certainly are of interest to our premier media customers. And I think with that, we'll hand over to Jerry and John, who are going to give us then a bit of a view of possibly where media is going and how it's going to play in the emerging ecosystem. So John and Jerry, over to you. Thanks very much.
Great, thanks, Reese, and I'll take it from here and then hand it over to Jerry. So as Reese did a great job laying out, Jerry, you can go to the next slide. So as Reese did a great job laying out sort of how our network looks and what it looks like, we want to talk a little bit about managed services and how we take your content and leverage our assets to make it easy for you to take your content and to globalize it, to move it across all markets in sort of a one-stop shop leveraging our fiber services, MCPC platforms, and our teleport services. Next slide. So MCPC platforms provide sort of a shared environment to uplink to our satellites. It allows you the ability to globalize your content, delivering it once to Intelsat and moving it across our entire fleet, and delivering your content to the diaspora and to the markets that you want to reach. And when we look at MCPC platforms or multi-carrier per channel platforms, what we do is we provide you sort of the end-to-end services, everything from the connectivity, once it's connected, connectivity, co-location at our facilities, encoding, but then we also include the encryption, multiplexing, uplink, and space as one package. So once you send us the content and it meets us at the Intelsat 1 network, and it can be done either over fiber or internet or satellite, it gets into the teleport. In the teleport, it goes up to the satellite and then delivers to to the market that you're interested in delivering your content to. Jerry? The reason we do this is for some of the smaller carriers, it provides a very efficient way to deliver content. With the traditional method of channels contracting specific capacity on our satellites, it is a one channel to to one uplink environment in the traditional SCPC space. With MCPC, what we do is we take all of the channels and we combine them into a single outbound, which makes it very efficient for us. But more importantly, it allows us to deliver very high quality services to you as a complete end-to-end service at very economical fees. Jerry? So we talked about how does this work? How it is truly as easy as picking a POP. How do you want to deliver your content to us? Again, it is over the Intelsat 1 fiber, and then we uplink and distribute to the channels on G19, IS-34, IS-20, and IS-19, which Reese went through the majority of those, and OneWest. In an environment that allows you to meet sort of your global demand, global needs, and meeting the diaspora where they are. Jerry? So Reese talked a little bit about G19, and I think G19 is a great representation of what our MCPC networks look like. They are usually cross-genre, so they include news, sports, entertainment, family, and faith. And when we look at the genre, it is, especially on G19, what you find is that these shared facilities and MCPC platforms are used, from local channels to meet their diaspora and to bring them a full bouquet of content and across multiple languages. So again, when we look at G19, it is the top languages which are represented is Reese mentioned was Arabic and Farsi, and then we have quite a bit of Turkish and Spanish across that that particular site. But this is a great representation of what our MCPC platforms look like and the types of channels that you would be co-located with on a global basis. Jerry? So again, this is a sort of a representation of how we globalize your content. So deliver it once, and then we move it through our private fiber network to our teleports. And then from the teleports, we can pretty much meet any of our satellites across the globe and deliver that content for you. So a very effective, very efficient way for you to globalize your content, meet your customers where they are, move into markets where potentially you are or not, in a great way to take and to expand those advertising dollars, that drive your content. Next.
Okay, thank you very much, John. Jerry Collins here. I'm going to talk a little bit about how we see some of the new ways in which video is being consumed in the market. Obviously, we're seeing a significant amount of video now being consumed over mobile networks. What we're showing on this chart is just to get an understanding of the scale of that evolution. We're looking here at some information from the Ericsson Mobility Report earlier this year, which shows that in 2019, roughly 63% of video, 63% of traffic on mobile networks was actually video. And what Ericsson are predicting, and there's general market agreement on this, is that's going to grow over the next 5 years up to 76%. But not only is the percentage of video going to grow, but the actual absolute volume of traffic is going to grow considerably as well. You're essentially going to get a 4 times increase of volume. So in fact, we're probably talking about, in terms of absolute numbers, the video traffic on mobile cellular networks growing by a factor of almost 6 or 7. So one of the ways in which we've been at Intelsat looking to try to innovate is to see, rather than delivering all of that traffic today in the unicast way in which cellular networks do it today, is there a hybrid approach that we can use the great value of satellite multicasting together with cellular unicasting to get greater performance and improve the economics for video delivery in cellular. So what we've got here is what we see as the potential future role for satellite in the distribution of video content into cellular networks. If I look on the right-hand side here of this chart, I've got the content origin and potentially at the central CDN, which is holding a lot of the either live streaming video or also video on demand. This can be then broadcast to particular points on the left-hand side in the cellular network. This could be broadcast into regional hubs. This could be broadcast directly into cell sites. This type of multicast solution, together with the developing technology of multi-access edge compute, where you would have a compute device at the edge of the network, at the cell tower, or at the aggregation point, would allow you to then store that content or stream that content live to your customers on the cellular network. Now, our view is that there's 2 main benefits of this type of architecture. One is that you significantly reduce the cost of delivery for the mobile operator. No longer is every user having an individual unicast stream all the way to the content origin. But also the fact that you're bringing the content closer to the end user in the mobile network, you're actually delivering a much better end user experience. So that's what we see the future of video delivery within the cellular network. I'm going to talk just very quickly about some of the other exciting things that we do in what we call the networks division. And this is what we call managed cellular backhaul. And how we deliver connectivity to cellular networks globally using satellite as the backhaul. It's a service that we can offer globally based on our global footprint of over 50 satellites. It's a very efficient way of using satellite capacity, because the capacity is shared across multiple sites. It is very, very cost efficient in terms of the ability to reach remote and rural areas in a CapEx and OpEx efficient manner. And we also believe we can deliver a high quality of service. And we offer this as a fully managed service. So just in terms of looking at the cellular world, very interesting developments in how video can be delivered into cellular networks, and also how we can connect remote and rural areas in cellular networks using satellite backhaul. So thank you very much on behalf of my colleagues. I think now we might have a minute maybe for some questions. Okay, so for the moment, we don't appear to have any questions. Okay, so maybe just while we've got a minute here, I'm just going to ask a question. John, in terms of, if I've got content and I want to reach a global market, how do I go about doing that with the Intelsat network?
Yeah, Jerry, great question. It is as easy as preparing your content, delivering it to any one of our Meet Me points inside of the Intelsat One network, and then defining the satellites and the markets that you want to uplink and downlink onto, and then we manage, sort of the end-to-end delivery of that content for you. And then you deliver it to the markets that and to the clients that you want to deliver the content, both in a direct to home environment, but also available into some of our large video neighborhoods.
Okay, thanks very much, John. Okay, well, we've reached the end of our time. Thank you very, very much on behalf of my colleagues and on behalf of Intelsat for joining us this morning. And good luck in the rest of the day and enjoy the rest of the event. Thank you very much for joining.
Thank you very much, everybody.
Thank you, John, Rice, and Jerry. Please feel free to stay on for to visit, the Intelsat exhibition on the Swapcard online platform. Thank you.
Very much.